Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. So thank you for inviting me to talk today. And actually, I was about to talk about the history of deep learning, so going back to 1960 till, thank you, till today about GPT, which is super interesting. But when I did this presentation to the data science team, they were like, this is not for data scientists. This is boring. We learned that at the university. We don't need that information. So I thought I'm going to change, actually, and talk about something very different. I'm actually going to talk to you about something we've done some research at Pecan about can ChatGPT, and I'm sure all of you know very well ChatGPT, can it actually do predictive analytics with machine learning? So very similar, but not with the very cool techniques that you just saw that Hanan showed you, but actually the classical, the easy stuff. Can ChatGPT do it? Okay, and it's a really interesting question because we see the power of ChatGPT and what it can do, but what about predictive analytics? Just a question, who believes that ChatGPT can indeed do predictive analytics and machine learning? The easiest, okay, the easiest, so let's, you know what, I'll ask the question in a second. Perfect, good point. So just a little bit about me. Okay, I'll come back to the question in a second. Very good question is what's the application? We're gonna see that in a second. This is me, PhD, so did my PhD at Tel Aviv University, brain research. That's actually where I met Zohar, my co-founder, fell in love, don't tell this to my wife, first day of our masters, and since then we are together. But this is my true love, 3 kids, amazing, and again, don't tell my wife also, of course, yeah. But so let's, a little bit about Pecan really quickly. So we started actually back in 2018, that's where we had our seed from S Capital, and from there on, company growing, and thank you to all our investors for backing us, and of course to all the customers using Pecan. What is Pecan about? The idea, the concept is that out there, there's a lot of analysts, and I'm sure all of you have friends which are analysts, they work with data, but they don't know data science, and they actually want to be able to do predictive questions. And it's the easy ones. It's like churn, LTV. It's not the super complex optimization. It's where actually it's about the data. We all know it's about the data. It's not about statistics. It's really about if you're gonna have good data, you're gonna have a good model. You need to construct everything, but it's really about the data. So why learn so much, why have a PhD in data science if at the end what you're gonna do is just data, when you can be an analyst and do data? So that's our concept, that's how we see it. And the idea is that we really show the user use cases, because that's what the user is about. What am I gonna solve? Churn, LTV, all these questions. And this is what we're gonna see. So you were asking, what did we ask ChatGPT to do? So here's the question. As a data scientist, I have the next transactions table. So in a second, we'll show we have a table with data. Very simple, one table. Please produce the AI-ready data set that can be used to train a decision tree. The decision tree should predict the following question. Predicting every week, what is the likelihood that an active customer during the past 100 days will continue doing an activity within the next 180 days? Okay, so very simple question for a data scientist. Now, okay, before I go here, now I'm gonna ask my question. Who thinks ChatGPT will be able to solve that problem? Come on. So little, nobody's really, okay, very nice, thank you very much. At least somebody here trusts ChatGPT. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, I see not a lot of you. Well, some. Who used ChatGPT? Almost everybody, okay. I see you don't trust him so much, let's see. So, actually, and this is amazing, look at the answer. Based on your task description, I understand that we want to predict if a customer who has been an active customer in the last 100 days will be active again in the next 100 days. In order to build the data set, I will suggest the following steps. Talking about feature engineering and telling, we're gonna see in a second, all sorts of features that he recommends. More than that, talking about data leakage. ChatGPT understands what data leakage is. I see somebody doing like that. Does he really understand what data leakage is? No way, come on, he didn't go to the university, he doesn't know data. Let's see what he's gonna do about data leakage. And so obviously, let's go into the details. Are you all ready? perfect. So we started, can you please write the code for the first step? Because he told us what we need to do. By the way, he's amazing to tell what to do. Is he such amazing in doing it? Let's see. And so first step, he tells us absolutely. Here's the code. Please go and run it. So if you look at the code, you can see, I'm not going to go into the details, but for every record, so every transaction that the user had, he's going to tell us, will they have another activity in the coming 180 days? But we wanted to predict every week, not for every transaction, right? So he missed it a little bit, and I asked him, what would be the result of the above code? And actually really understands how it's going to look. We have for every record that we had for that user, we can actually see that he added a column, will they continue to have an activity? So did a nice job. By the way, can you hear me? Stop working, right? It's okay? Okay, perfect. So did a good job, but let's help it a little bit. It's not every week, right? It's when you had a transaction. We might have several transactions every day. That's not good. So let's help a little bit. In the original task, we were asked to predict every week. Can you change the code to sample our customers every week? And look what amazing job he did. It actually did it really correct. Let's go to the next task. But wait, we wanted that they had an activity in the past 100 days. He forgot about that. We're gonna help him. He doesn't have a really good memory. So now we just told him, look, you forgot about that. Can you please add that? And sure, I understand your point. You have a good point. I forgot it. And here he's telling us really has, you can see here, only for these active users, did a very good job. Very nice. Come on, we need to tell him, he did a good job. Okay, we would like to create some features. It's time for features, right? We did the label. Let's do some features. Could you please write code to add feature columns? Absolutely. He loves to do data science. And he wrote the code. He tells us which features. And by the way, look at what amazing features. Total revenue by the customer, average weekly revenue by the customer, average weekly quantity by the customer, the ratio of fraudulent transactions. Really good features. Wow. Not sure data scientists, starting this first time would have all these features. And so, but wait, we have a problem. He told us about leakage, but he sums now all the revenue, didn't take into consideration what's in the past, what's in the future. Hey, ChatGPT, are you sure? What about leakage? Does your code take it into consideration? And again, he says, you're right, I forgot about it. But then he goes and fixes it, and actually does it really, really well. He's gonna take all the past information. He's not gonna take anything after that week. So he does a great job about leakage. Very nice. Very nice job. Are you sure you don't have leakage? Let's see if he's sure about it. And actually, it's really nice. He's like, yeah, the provided code does take into consideration or to account the potential issue of leakage. But again, obviously, he's like a good data scientist, says, I'm not 100% sure because I don't really know. And that's actually an amazing answer. Because you never know really what happened to the data. Although it's in the past, maybe it was updated. So he's not 100% about it, but he took it into consideration. Okay, very nice. So given the provided data set, what features would you recommend the most? Let's talk a little bit more about these features. And he gives a very nice list of all sorts of features, even the rate of order types, which is really nice to have that. Let's ask him to create these features. Can you please provide code to perform the rate of order types? So he did the code very nicely, but again, what did he forget? Leakage. He's like, he forgets a little bit from time to time what he really needs to do. And this time, ask him again to take care of leakage, and he does it amazingly. Can you please join the data all together so we have our AI-ready data set so we can train over it? Sure, here's the code. Gave us all the information and did it very well. And very nice, we need to tell him he did a very good job. What about the modeling algorithm? Would you recommend? Can you please write the code? He did, it's not here, but he did a great job with that too. But that's easy, I have to say. That's almost the easiest part of all what we did till now. Anything we are missing in the process, are we good to model? Look his answer, telling us, before proceeding with the modeling, here are some steps you might want to consider to ensure you are well prepared. Data pre-processing, feature engineering, feature scaling, data splitting, imbalanced classes, model selection and hyperparameter tuning, cross-validation, and evaluation metrics. Amazing. I don't think any data scientist would give a better answer than that. He's amazing. You did a great job. I believe you can be a data scientist. Thank you for your kind words. As an AI developed by OpenAI, I don't have personal experiences or aspirations, but I'm here to help you with your data science task to the best of my ability. I'm glad you found the information useful. Very good. So, first of all, please clap your hands. ChatGPT did an amazing job. And really, I have to say, we were like blast. It's crazy to see, first of all, his ability to explain. He's doing that amazingly. When he needs to perform, forgets a lot of times what you need really to do. So the main point I think, and by the way, when you ask him, can ChatGPT, so I thought when I started, like, with all the presentation, started by just asking him, like, easier than just do all these steps. Can ChatGPT do ML predictive analytics? What do you think is the answer? So he says the answer is generally no. ChatGPT cannot directly perform ML predictive analytics, and explains why. You'll see in the answers he doesn't say, I tend to forget about data leakage, but he's more about, I can't really run the code, I don't have all the data, which is correct. But he has a little bit more problems he's not aware of. So in general, just to say, what's super important when you work with ChatGPT in these sorts of large projects, you need to cut it into very small pieces. And secondly, have a human in the loop. There's no way you can have ChatGPT just run your code. Now, obviously, this is getting better and better, and there are techniques, but still, there's no way to just say, okay, here's the data set, please run predictive analytics on it. Thank you, everybody.